Alrighty, late night with Smitty never stops, it seems. But yes, we are 2 months away from the Grey Cup. I saw a post 100 days away from Christmas. Insane. And we're going into week three of the
Whoa.
NFL season. And today I am joined by Beau from 99.9 FM Bounce Radio out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. So great to have you on.
Hey, Steve, great to
Hey.
be on. Thanks. And you know what? The hockey season starts this weekend. It's my favorite time of year. Everything's going on.
It is totally it, right? And it feels like the Jets can still see that overtime goal there in Dallas that happened, and a lot has happened, free agency and everything else, and I think there's a lot of anticipation for the Jets this season, no doubt, with the acquisition of Jonathan Taves. How do you see that playing out this year?
You know what? I'm not having any huge expectations. Whatever he gives us, I'll be happy with. I'm excited about it. He's
Mhm.
excited about it. But I guess until we see him on the ice, I don't know what to expect for sure. But you know it's Jonathan Taves. You think he wouldn't be coming back if he didn't think he was ready, right? So I'm hoping for the best. It's going to be fun, fun to watch.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Our internet connection isn't the best, but hopefully that works out. Um, yeah, there is some name
Yeah, because there's a bit of
recognition,
a
and
pause.
yeah, there is a bit. Hopefully I know my cell phone wasn't working the best, but hopefully works it through. So that's how it goes.
You want to try it again, or what? You're good. Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we'll just keep going. With the let's
Yep.
if people listen to the radio interview this morning, Beau had me on, and we were kind of talking about a gamut of things. So I just want to maybe start with your story. Again, start with the Jets, but we'll start with how you got into radio, what your passion for radio, and that sort of thing.
Kid, and it had to do with sports. I wanted to be a play-by-play guy, and I the only time I ever did that though was with my brother playing table hockey. I was the play-by-play guy, and I was Toronto, he was Montreal. Those were our teams growing up, and I used to get a little snarky. We'd have lots of fights. Mom would have to come down and be the referee and break his stuff. But that's how I kind of got started. I want to be get into sports. And funny enough, I never did do that. But one day, while still in high school at Miles Mac here in Winnipeg, I heard an ad. Do you want to be an announcer? You want to be on the radio? And I thought, yeah, that sounds cool. I had nothing else I wanted to do, so I entered a course. I know you did. You went to a course as well. We'll get to that in a second. But so I signed up for this Career Academy of Broadcasting, and I couldn't afford to go to Toronto, so I actually did it from my basement at home on good old Melbourne Avenue in East Gladone. And while I was still finishing high school, so I would get back in the day, I had 72 records, LPs. I had
Wow.
a tape recorder, a lousy little microphone, and a notebook full of exercises. Follow along, listen to what they wanted me to do it, send the tape to Toronto, listen or wait for it to be critiqued. That took forever. So it took me a good year and a half, almost 2 years to finish the course. And then when I finished, I thought, okay, I'm in radio, but not quite. It took about 6, 7 months to get that first job because nobody wanted you without experience. So I was lucky to go up to CHTM in Thompson,
Hmm.
spend a year there, went over to Regina for 3 years in the 70s. I hated I no, I loved it because there were girls in Regina. After Thompson, there was like nothing but minors. And but I hated the fact that Rough Roster and Reed, my girlfriend there, was a huge Ryder fan. I used to go to the games. I would quietly cheer against them, but I would just sort of sit there, and they never lost back in those days. So
Right.
from there, I came back here to Winnipeg in the mid '70s for a couple of years and cheered on a few years. And, London, Ontario, and I've been back in Winnipeg here since 1989 on pounds. And there we are in the same building. And you were in that building we were talking about.
Yes, I was, and yeah, it was kind of neat to see the whole morning show kind of take place, and with you, Tom, and Des, and just what's all incorporated there. And I was asked to ask you guys a few questions, and then I was about to leave, and you said, "Hang on here, Steve. Well, what's your prediction for tonight's game?" And the Bombers were playing BC, and I said BC sucks, and I know that wasn't maybe the original, but I first heard it at a Bomber game. Our family moved back to Manitoba. I first heard it at a Bomber game. I think it was about 4 years prior, and uh, when they played the Lions on a rainy Sunday afternoon in September, I heard the BC sucks chant, and it was loud. Yeah, it was kind
It
of
caught on.
neat. Yeah, it's just kind of what it is, right? And it's fun. It's exciting, and yeah, yeah. I mean, kind of transition into that. It is a big year. Five consecutive Grey Cups. We've been spoiled. The kids that are 20 only know winning.
Yeah.
6 and 7 now. Maybe a crossover, maybe a miss. I'm not sure. At this point of the season with the Bombers, I'm kind of resigned to the fact, and I never thought I'd get to that point, but I'm not sure what to think.
Well, you know what? Briefly, let me touch on me growing up. I was in an era as well when I was like 10 years old. The Bombers were, 58, 59, 61, 62. They were in every Grey Cup, it seemed to me, and they won those and then
Mhm.
lost in 65. And so I was kind of used to the Bombers being in the Grey Cup all the time as well. But of course, we had that couple of long droughts. But this year, honestly, I just wish we could have won at least one more of the last five cups. I'd feel a lot better had we won at least three of the five.
Yeah.
I really didn't have any expectations going into this year because normally the city that hosts the Grey Cup, you don't see that team in there. That seems to be a bit of a thing. So I wasn't expecting us to be there, but I was certainly expecting. I don't know. We got off to that 3-0 start, and I thought, hey, what do I know? These new guys are great. We're doing
Hmm.
everything well, and now here we are, 6-7, and I don't know without Zach in there, and I know a lot of people don't like Zach, but and maybe his skills have diminished a little bit, but compared to what else we have, wow, I don't feel confident once Zach's not in there. And I heard Doug Brown say on the I think the post game show after the last Bomber loss that he thought this reminded him of 2019
Hmm.
at the near the end of the season when we actually traded for Zach. Things weren't looking good then either. I think it was Matt Nichols, right? Matt went down, and
That's right.
we had Strevler, but and then he said maybe it's time to make a trade, get somebody in here before the end of the year. I don't know who's out there. I have no idea. There's nobody out there that comes to mind offhand that seems like he'd be the answer. But I don't know. It's going to be a funny year. 6-7 at this time of year. We're not used to that.
No, no, we definitely aren't, and yeah, I heard the exact same thing from Doug Brown there, and when they got Zach Claris. No, this is Strugler's team, but like, who's kidding who, right? And my question is, why isn't Terry Wilson taking some snaps here? You let him throw in the Grey Cup when you probably should have run the ball, but that's a whole nother conversation. It's just, he's good on the third down sneaks, that sort of thing. I just want, again, coaches know more than us. I just wonder if the Bombers are being actually put in
But
the
do they really? Do they really, Steve? Come on.
well,
Well, I'm,
uh,
we've got the best seats in the house. We know what's going on out there. I mean, I'm the same way. Terry Wilson, why is he on the team if we can't give him a chance? Because if it's not working, why not throw him in there? It can't get any worse. I just want to see what he's got. And if he doesn't have it, well, then we can move on and see what else is out there, But gee, it's very frustrating for a Bomber fan this year. But we're spoiled, right? We are spoiled. 5 years in a row at a Grey Cup. That's pretty damn good.
It is, no doubt. Let's go back maybe to 2019. You were at that Grey Cup in Calgary, if I recall correctly. How was that experience for you?
Yeah.
Watching that drought end in person.
Well, first of all, it was yeah, no, that was a great week because the only previous drought had been '84 when we'd gone 22 years, and I wasn't at that game, but I remember watching and getting extremely drunk, watching that game and having to work the next. This was in London, Ontario, the next day on the Monday morning, and I was just people couldn't understand it because there weren't a lot of CFL fans down there at the time. Why is he so hungover? I said the Bombers won the Grey Cup. I could barely keep my head off the. Every time I'd say something, I'd have to put my head down in between while the songs were playing. But no, but what is that? 2019. That was, of course, yeah. I went to Calgary with my buddies. We have a group that we go to a lot of the Grey Cups. I don't join them every time, but so we had a great few days leading up to it. And I don't know, it was just the way we got there, right? We were in third. We had to go to Calgary, then Regina, and now we're back in Calgary. And what a game. I mean, honestly, I was in tears in the stands at the end of the game. And so were many other Bomber fans because it was that long coming and it was just very emotional. And it was a hell of a party after. It was a good time. I stayed an extra day just to give myself a little time to get sobered up and get back on an even keel before heading back to Winnipeg. But unfortunately, I missed the parade because of that. I wanted to see that, but no, it was. Anytime you wait that long for a championship, man, that was tearful. You were watching, obviously.
I was in Regina the week before, and I will never forget that game. The local radio station phoned me and wanted to do an interview the next morning. So I'm at my aunt and uncle's house doing a radio interview, and then it broadcasted the next day. And um, there's an article written, Smith relishes Bomber victory in enemy territory. And yeah, just that journey, right? The 7-2 to losing Nichols and Fajardo hits the ball off the upright. You kind of almost think like the Bombers are never going to win the Grey Cup, and then right, and it was kind of the equivalent, and maybe it's hyperbole, but it was kind of the equivalent to maybe the Red Sox. And I know that was 86 years, but um, kind of in that parallel. Could you just like if you can't win
Oh,
it with Stiegel and
yeah.
those guys, like when's this ever going to happen? Right? So, uh,
Yeah, there were some big disappointments along the way. 2001, of course, I was, that team was phenomenal. And the fact that we lost the Grey Cup to third place Calgary, who had only gotten in because I think they beat us at the end of the regular season to get in, and then to lose that Grey Cup, it was like, oh, that was a heartbreaker. And also 2007 when we lost Kevin Glenn in the final, I was in Toronto for that game, and that was Dinwiddie, of course, playing quarterback. But even at that game, we had a chance, but losing against the Riders in that Grey Cup, ooh, that hurt. That was a tough walk back to the hotel after that one, getting it from the Rider fans.
yeah, it's no doubt, right? And I can still see you could have run for the first down, and sometimes
Oh,
it's right. It's just yeah. So Megan, I think that, and that's why winning is definitely so sweet and everything else. It is quite the culture that the Bombers have built. They're going to sell out the 27th game. Grey Cup's almost sold out. Wade Miller has kind of, I'm stating the obvious, has turned this flagship, has turned this franchise into a flagship franchise.
yeah, no, it's amazing what they've done. I mean, we always expect the sellout now, and it's great. We have a lot of young fans as well, which is fantastic for the team and the CFL. And yeah, it's just mind-boggling actually, because we've been through the leaner years here as well. I've been going to Bomber games since 1966 was the first Bomber game I ever went to at the old stadium. And this was even before the upper decks were in the
Wow.
old stadium. And Kenny Payne was in his last year. I think Leo Lewis was still running around, and Farrell Funston was catching passes. I was just, I don't know, 13, 14. And it was just a thrill to be there. But then we had some great teams that never era, the Dieter Brock era, and we had good teams, great players, but just couldn't. We either couldn't get past Edmonton or BC or earlier on Saskatchewan. It was always something in our way. So,
Mhm.
but what we're seeing now with the Bombers and attendance wise, that's unprecedented.
Yeah, most definitely right. And season tickets are at all-time high, and you get the discounts at the concessions, and they've really tried to make it a entertainment industry because that's what sports is. Uh, I laugh when I interviewed James Murphy. He goes, "I don't go to many games. I just want to watch the game. I don't know this entertainment." I always kind of chuckled at that, what he had said there, right? But I think deep
I
down,
got Murph's
it,
I got Murph's jersey hanging on the wall back here
nice.
above my dog Rolo, who's having a snooze. Yeah, no, I just wonder, and I know this is what a lot of people are wondering, mostly fans from elsewhere. Yeah. The Bombers sell out every game, but they've been winning for so long. What happens when they're not winning? What's going to happen then? It makes you wonder. Let's see what can we keep this up? I mean, in the NFL, of course, it doesn't seem to matter. Win or lose, the place is packed, right? Because people just love their football. I think that's the way it's going to be for us as well. I maybe not a sellout every time, but I can't see it, dropping off too far. I hope.
No, I can't see it either, right? They work at the Fan Fest stuff, and everybody works through the construction and tries to tries to get there in due time, that sort of thing. But I got to ask you, some of your favorite games this year. Um, which game kind of sticks out to you in particularly this year? Was it the Calgary game with Stiegel coming back?
Yes, except we did lose that game, but that was an emotional moment. That was, the start of that game was just incredible, and it was so loud, and you could just see the emotion on Mill's face. You could feel it as a fan. It was just, yeah, that was the game. It was okay. We didn't win that one, but that would have to stand out as probably the highlight. I'm glad you brought that up because I was trying to think. Normally, the Banjo Bowl is fun, not so much this year though. So yeah, a couple of the first games as well. Really enjoyed, the first game. We had the Trues performing, and it was like we had all these new guys, didn't know how they were going to do. And then, of course, Brady got injured right off the bat. And we thought, oh my God. And then, the backup comes in. His name escapes me at the moment. Did a
Peterson.
great job. So we thought, hey, we got guys here. This is going to be a great year for us. Started off well, but hey, season's not over 7, so there's still a few games to go, and of course, anything can happen in the playoffs. So I'm still waiting for the highlight of the season as far as that's concerned for my best game. So maybe it'll be the next home game. That's a this Saturday, what we're in Ottawa. My God, we have got to win that game, Steve. We have got to win
Yeah, because eventually you have to win
in
games
Ottawa.
and stop hoping that other people and stop putting your hope in other teams, right? So that's what that's what I always keep saying and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
who have been maybe we'll just shift here a bit. Who have been some of your mentors and role models that have helped you in your radio career?
Wow. Okay, so I've been in this business 53 years. So growing up, there was a lot of announcers I used to listen to, jocks as we used to call them, that inspired me. I'm just trying to think of some local ones here that people would know. Good old Red Alex. He was on my folks. That was their station, CJOB. When they controlled the radio. So Red was on there in the morning, Red Alex. But then I switched over to like CKRC or CFRW, and there was like a guy named Bobby Boom Boom Brannigan on CFRW, and guys like that. Gary Double R Roberts, who actually hired me to Winnipeg in '76 when I came from Regina to Winnipeg, and he gave me the name because my name, my first few years in radio, this was funny because my real name is Wolfgang Furchi. So my first radio job up in Thompson, I got the job. I was ecstatic. I was on the phone with Andy Shepard, the PD, and he said, "What name do you want to use?" And I had never really thought of it. And I was in the kitchen, and I looked over at the kitchen table, and we was in the sports section of a guy. His name was Mel Corey, and the reason his picture was in there, he was a spitting image of quarterback Joe Namath of the New York Jets, but he was golfing in Winnipeg. So that was the gist of the story. And I just looked over and said, "How about Mel Corey?" So that was my name for the first few years in Thompson and Regina. And then when Reg hired me, Gary Double R Roberts to Winnipeg, he said, "I'd like you to be Buster Bodine." I said, "What?" "Sure. Okay." I was just happy to leave Regina and come home to Winnipeg. Call me what you want. So that's how that all got started. But yeah, so there's a lot of people along the way, and you know, people I've worked with. It's hard to come up with a definitive amount of names. We had a great radio reunion. When was it? In June, here in Winnipeg. A lot of folks from the Winnipeg radio stations, not just the ones I worked at, um, came here, and it was just a wonderful getting together and shooting the shit, hearing the old stories. And just yesterday, I was at Don Percy, the master of the morning, his 88th birthday. We had a little luncheon for him at the
Nice.
Pony Corral. And Don, his voice is still good. He's still telling bad stories and making bad jokes, and it's great to see at 88. Moving a little slow, but then who isn't? But
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of great broadcasters over the years. And what I'm happy with now is because I've been in it for so long, I hear a lot of people that I was able to connect with over the years that would come in much like you did for an internship or something along those lines, and then you hear from them later, and they say, "Yeah, you remember I was there, and now I'm doing this, and thanks so much for your help." And I didn't really think much of it at the time, but anything, I'm always willing to help because I was so shy when I started. I was too afraid to go into the radio stations and ask for help. I thought, oh, these guys aren't going to want to hear from me. I'm just some guy who wants to get into radio. So I've always kept that in mind that if somebody is looking to get into the business and needs a helping hand or just some of that. And the other thing I really enjoy is, again, I hear, especially from the 90s when I was on Q94 with Tom and Frazier and Des and Caroline as well for a bit. And people say, "Yeah, I remember you. I went to school with you, and now they're growing up with their own kids, and it's amazing what people remember things we did, or we showed up at their office with coffee and donuts, and it's like these things are entrenched in their memories, and it's always kind of cool to hear that. So it's kind of a fun business to be in. Not as much fun now because it's just not as many people. Technology is kind of taken over. But hey, listen, if I wasn't still having fun and do it, I still enjoy talking with people and just having a few laughs.
Yeah, I mean it's you're getting up, you're talking on the radio, you're communicating with literally thousands of people, and driving in the cars, getting to work, and that sort of thing. So, um, do you often get recognized in public, obviously?
You know what? Not as much now. The voice does. If I start talking, people will say, "I know that voice," but not so much visually. There was a time back in the late 90s, 2000s, we did a lot of TV ads.
Hmm.
Tom and I with either Frazier or Des. and there were everything from us pretending to be naked and holding radios in certain parts to just a lot of crazy commercials. And at that point, people would recognize you in the supermarket or where whatever,
Right.
which was kind of cool. My kids were embarrassed to hell, but that was kind of cool. But now I recognize the voice, and then I'll say, hey. They may not even know I'm still on the radio, but they do remember me at some point. So that I can go. I'm pretty well incognito, Steve.
Yes.
I don't even need the hat. I'm good even without the hat.
Yeah, when you came on, you were wearing the hat. I was like, well, I knew you were, but it's okay. You're wearing the
Well,
hat.
it's yeah, it's a little shiny. I got the forehead going on
Yeah,
here, and
yeah,
once you put the hat on, you can't take it off, right? This
that's
is an old bomber hat from their 50 one of their anniversaries that I got a few years ago. So shirts, a lot of jerseys. I don't know. You probably have the same. I've got them hanging all over the place. It's just crazy.
yeah. I think they came out with that in around the 2008 season, if memory serves me correct. So I try to, yeah, I think that's right. I know I have a T-shirt like that or had one, that sort of thing. Any thoughts with
I got
the?
the more cowbell t-shirt. Remember that one? Remember
Pardon?
the more cowbell t-shirts? That's still one of my favorites. The more cowbell t-shirts. I think that was around 2007. That was swag time. I think the
Yeah,
swag
it was around
swag team.
yeah, that's my well, that was I think that was the 2011 season when they went
2011.
7-1 versus 1-7. They lost that Labor Day game. It was which
Yeah.
they rarely
Oh,
win that game.
I was there. Oh my God, it was yeah for sure.
But you were at the Labor Day game a few years after in 2016. Do you want to kind of talk about that game?
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, we won that game. I think it was a last play field goal by Justin Medlock, and I was sitting behind the rider bench. My old partner Heather Prozac. I went with her on a road trip to Regina. It was last minute. She had tickets. She was a rider fan, still is. She worked in Saskatchewan for quite some time, and she's from Western Manitoba. So you know how they are. Half of them cheer for the
Hmm.
riders. But so we went and had a great time at the game. And near the end of it, the riders looked like they were going to win, and I had been, throwing a few things out from the stands, and some of the rider players were giving me the old, yeah, yeah, shut up, you're done. And then, of course, at the end of it all, we won. So I got to high five a lot of the bombers that were coming over to my side of the field. So that was great. And of course, Wayne's World, you've been, you know what Wayne's World is all about. I had my first Wayne's World, I think it was 2012. I went on the Hustler and Lawless bus, Labor Day to Regina. What a trip that was. That was one of my first Labor Day classics in a long time. And first time I went to Wayne's World, I said, "Well, what is Wayne's World?" And of course, it was guy at that time, it was or Mosaic, it was already called then. And he's got that big yard right near the stadium. It's kind of home for Bomber fans, although Rider fans come there as well. So any of those weekends, though, it's fun. If you win, it's more fun. If you lose, it's a long drive home on the Monday. Oof, I remember that all too well.
Yeah, it's I was there the year prior with my kids and I'm thinking, okay, they're about to lose this game after I thought they were going to win, and when Brett Lauer missed that field goal, I couldn't believe it. It was there's some wins that stick out, and there's more emotional wins, and that was one of them. It was incredible. I just as someone told me, you're going to take that like, memory into old age, and it's like every Labor Day now. It's like, well, I mean, it's only been 1 year. I can't help but think of that game. I mean, it's entrenched in the memory banks.
Unfortunately, the one I remember was that 20, whenever it was, the Hustler and Lawless trip, 55 nothing
Yeah.
for the Riders. I can't forget that game. That was a spanking. But it was good natured. By the time the second half rolled around, everybody knew who was going to win. So we had some good fun with the Rider fans on that one. They're
Yeah.
happy when the Bombers lose. They're very happy.
Well, yeah, they're incredibly happy. That is their Super Bowl, no doubt. And maybe they make it to the Grey Cup and they'll be in the Bombers locker room. They this year, who knows? Who knows? That's what Andrew Harris was hoping for when I interviewed him in February. So, uh, which is hard to believe that he's in green, but he's
Yeah,
still.
I still can't get over Andrew Harrison Green.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
he goes,
know. Come on, man.
I take
I know
I
it's hard
take the
to.
coach's job, and I said I understand, but when I saw him at the Manager Bowl in green, yeah, that was a bit of a misnomer. I mean, there's some pretty intense games he had against those Riders, and Nick Dembski, former Rider as well. Um, Labor Day 2015 takes the punt return for a touchdown. He was coming right towards us. uh, eh,
I remember how disappointed I was when Nick was with the Bisons, of course, and I was so excited. And then he got drafted by the Riders, and I thought, oh, and then it's good to have him back here. So,
yes.
Nick, I love Nick. He's one of the top
Hmm.
guys.
Yeah, most definitely. Any it seems like most of Canada is invested into the Blue Jays. 5-game lead in the American League East. Do you share that same excitement?
I do. You know what? I used to be. I was never a huge baseball fan growing up. When I moved to Montreal for 4 years, the Expos were playing some of the best baseball. That was some of the years they should have been there. '81, of course, Blue Monday, and they had a great team. I went to most of the games, got caught up in it, and of course, then once I moved away from Montreal, and the Expos, of course, disappeared in the '90s. But yeah, I got into the Blue Jays, especially on their World Series games. And I don't usually watch a lot of the early season stuff, but I've been caught up in the way they've been playing this year of late. So I usually watch a lot of that and keeping my fingers crossed that they can hang on to this 5-game lead. And yeah, so the most fun I had was a few years ago, and this used to be a tradition, right? The Jays would normally be in Minneapolis on the May long weekend, I believe, our May long weekend,
Hmm.
and so the place would be just jammed with Winnipeggers down there. There's more Jays fans than Twin fans
Yeah.
at Target Field, and that was always a fun trip. And I know the same thing happens in Seattle with people coming down from Vancouver and BC and stuff. So yeah, so I'm hoping for the Blue Jays. That's got me going. NFL is going. My Vikings, they look good there in week one. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening now with JJ McCarthy. He's injured, but I don't know. Thank God the hockey season's coming.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, right? JJ McCarthy, it was announced yesterday he's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, high ankle sprain. Pundits were saying, okay, you had a kid 3 days ago. How would you do? Uh, you know, I think he's had about one good quarter. So in Carson Wentz, we trust. Uh, and he'll be playing
North
close to
Dakota
home.
kid
Yeah.
from North Dakota, so that's kind of cool.
Right. It totally is, right? Which, I always think when guys from the NFL get drafted out of North Dakota, it's like I feel like it's a Manitoba thing. I don't it's just kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
There's a kid that got drafted, a town of 67 people. He plays for the Tampa Bay Bucks now. He went in the first round a few years ago when we were leaving for Orlando. I started talking to this family, and they like had some connections to this family. So it was kind of interesting as far as that went there. I was having a conversation with somebody though yesterday about JJ McCarthy. Again, they draft him in the top 10. The year prior gets hurt. Sam Darnold comes in. Do you think that it was a mistake to play him now, just based on his draft status, or how do you see that?
Um, I was. Well, I wasn't a huge fan of Sam Darnold until last year, and then it was like, my God, is this the same guy that we used to see playing for the Jets and other teams? And I thought he was great. I was a little surprised when even the talk was already at the end of last season that he wasn't going to be coming back to the Vikings, and I thought, okay, they must have a lot of confidence in JJ. I'd never seen him play. I know he was a huge Michigan guy.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. I'm not used to talking this much at once. I thought they'd keep Sam around and bring JJ in slowly, but obviously they had confidence in him. I watched that first game, and I thought the first half, I thought, oh boy. And then of course the big comeback, and but then this last game again, maybe he was playing injured for most of it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Vikings fans. I love the Vikes. Have ever since Bud Grant went down there, but
Right.
and the way the Packers are playing right now could be tough. I don't know. It's early though, eh? Everything's early. We tend to make our decisions, and there's still so much of the season. So many things can happen, and injuries, and so on and so forth. So we'll see. I'll keep my purple handy for now.
Yeah, I would like to see them succeed.
My horns.
And again, you know what? If they win that game versus Detroit last year, then they get the bye, and then Detroit's going to play the Rams, which happened to be a neutral site game in Arizona. Yeah, there was this exceeding of expectation. But when I was in high school, the high school coach always said, you know, we sat the grade nines and tens, and then by the time they got to grade 11 and 12 and played, they were good. And it's just, you know, you look at Jordan Love sitting, Aaron Rodgers sitting, and so I don't know. Again, I don't have a dog in the race. It's just kind of one of these things where you have to play these guys. Like maybe the Joe Burrow's the exception, and I'm not saying JJ McCarthy won't be. As at the end of the day, I don't think you want to wreck a guy, right? So that would be my.
No, no, you don't want to do that.
But as you say, it is early, so that's what I'm trying to keep mindful with my Chiefs there. So it's been a rough couple of weeks.
Oh, are you a Chiefs guy?
I've been a
You're a
Chiefs
Chiefs guy.
I'm a
Okay, I
Chiefs
should.
I'm a Chiefs guy since I was 15 years old. So went down
Okay, all
for a
right.
game, and yeah. So this isn't a Swift thing. This isn't anything like that. But I do want to check out the new restaurant that they have that Kelsey and Mahomes have there at 587
Yeah.
Clover. So that'll be on the docket. So family trip next year. Uh, but I don't know. When you two of your receivers are out, Rasheed Rice and then Xavier Worthy, and then Kelsey can't catch a ball, that's what happens. 0-2. So
I don't know. They're and the Chargers are up 2-0 now, so it's going to be a little tougher this year. But like I say, it's still early. I'm not counting the Chiefs out yet. But yeah, it's a different start. I know our good friend Andrew Patterson was down there for the game on Sunday.
okay.
He's the other biggest Chiefs fan I know, and yeah, yeah, oh, huge fan.
Hmm. Yeah, it is a quite the atmosphere when you go. I've done the stadium tour. I've done the whole tailgate. It's I would encourage anyone to experience it, even if they aren't a Chiefs fans. So it's good. I know you got a remote in a couple of hours and that sort of thing. But was there anything else you would like to cover? Something I haven't hit on? I know the internet connection hasn't been the best. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was the water that came onto our removable carpet that I've teared out. Uh, it's one of those things. I do apologize. Technology is a wonderful thing.
I know you're you got hit by rain. Did you get your plug?
Yeah, I didn't quite hear you there. But I think what you asked me was if I had lots of.
Oh, I just hope that you didn't get too much damage from the storm the other day. I know you're down in that area, so it was pretty heavy. Oh man.
Yeah, it was we didn't get I think what you asked me was I don't think we got like we didn't get as much water as other people, but the carpet's been removed and yeah, no worse for wear, but the hot tub got filled up pretty good. So that was kind of why in that regard.
Any of that kind of water is too much water, regardless of what you got. Yeah, no, I'm going to say I'm looking forward to it. I can't believe the Jets are playing a preseason game on Sunday already against the Wild.
Yeah.
Fan Fest is coming up Saturday. Training camp, of course, starts tomorrow. And I don't know. Last year the Jets surprised me. I mean, that start to the season, it was like, holy smokes, we're not losing any games. I mean, I can't possibly see us doing that again, but I'd be happily surprised if we do. But I think we're going to have a good team. We'll see. Jonathan Taves, as we talked about earlier, some of the other guys, no Nick Healers. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
It definitely will be. And I think there's a lot of hope for optimism. I've always said Chevy has the hardest job in the NHL for people to the notions out there who wants to come to Winnipeg. It's like, well, with the no trade clauses and that sort of thing. But when Taves wants to sign here, legitimately wants to sign here, I think that adds credibility to what's being built here. I think it's a rejuvenized fan base, no question. And so, yeah, there is a lot to be excited about for the Jets. Obviously, we hope they win the cup like every year, but what I've learned in sports is no season is ever the same.
We can agree on that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
But it is nice that the fan base has been rejuvenated because I remember I was in the season ticket queue when they first came back. It was impossible. A friend of mine finally got me some seats up in section 310. So I was a season ticket holder for the first 11 years. Now I share with some other people. But I remember the first few years, I went to every single Jets game. I look back on it now. First of all, how the heck did I afford it and have them back? And I think that excitement has been rekindled in the last couple of seasons. So I still can't go to every game. I get too old to go to every game. I got to get to bed early. I get up early.
right.
But I love watching the Jets. It makes the winter go by, and fingers crossed that we're going to have an exciting season, and better yet, an exciting playoffs. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at the Bomber Pro Faith Night, Jets Pro Faith Night next week, and I can't wait to talk to Cole Perfetti about the 1.6. That's what I'm looking forward to. Uh, it's a fundraiser. People don't know it's a fundraiser for Lauren Coral, who's the chaplain for the Jets and the Bombers and other things. But there's players there. There's a bit of a meet and greet, so I can't wait to ask them about that play.
Incredible. I remember that night. It was, I just opened the back door and after we won and just screamed to nobody in particular, just screamed, Jets win. And it was just such an emotional night. And that was sort of like our Stanley Cup. I wasn't really ready for the next series. That
Mhm.
first game, I can see why we lost because if I wasn't ready for it, I don't know if the players are ready
Yeah.
because that seventh game overtime, that was just unbelievable. The highlight, one of the big highlights over the years for the Jets.
It sure was. And when Lowry put that in, I mean, yeah, I went outside. I did the same thing. You throw your hoodie against the siding, you just don't know what to do here. You can't believe what's taking place here and transpiring. Yeah, it's a moment that will live on in Jets history for it's right up there with Solani 76 or breaking Bossy's record with the 53rd goal, and then obviously a 76 goal season there in the 92-93 season. Um, but yeah, this is that new generation, right? So yeah, it's what you talk about
Yeah.
the this is what re re-energizes a fan base. They have that to hold on to.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be a good season. So looking forward to that. And listen, Steve, thanks so much for having me on today. I got to go pump some gas at Red River Co-op. We're raising some money today for charity for Manitoba Hospital. It's their Fuel Good Day. So
Okay.
either get some gas or some coffee at Red River Co-op today. You'll be helping out a great cause. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you say that, I did see Corny Rempel on a Facebook Live. So maybe I'll do that as well and pay him a visit and see where that goes. But yeah, thanks so much for wanting to do this. The invitation is always good to come on again. We can talk whatever. And but yeah, thanks for so much for again for coming on, sharing your story and all that. And thanks for having me on your show earlier today. It's good.
Steve, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was fun. And by the way, Corny is my favorite Elvis impersonator. Okay, you can tell him that. I've seen him perform a few times, so he's great.
Okay, my mother-in-law, I think, just hired him for a birthday party, which I can't talk too much about. But so that's good. It'll either be Johnny Cash or Elvis.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah,
Good, good.
yeah.
Right on. Okay, well, I'll take care, and maybe we'll see you at a Bomber game soon.
I hope so, Steve, and a winning game too. Cheers.
Winning game, yes, absolutely. Cheers. Take care.